Welcome to today's video on 3D designing a rocket.
Let's go to Tinkercad.com. Now we'll log in using our school Gmail account and you can join your teacher's classroom using her class code. Once you've logged in, your screen should look like this. Click the Create button and select 3D Design to begin designing your project. Before we start designing, check the settings in the lower right-hand corner. Make sure the units is inches and the length and width should be set to 8 inches by 8 inches. Make sure that these settings are the default and then close your settings. To start designing a rocket that looks like this one over here, we're going to start by first accumulating all the shapes and components that we'll be using. First, drag a cylinder onto your work plane and set the length and width to 1 inch by 1 inch and the height to 3 inches. Then you can set this aside. And then you're going to need 2 more cylinders. These 2 you can color white and set the length and width to 0.65 inches by 0.65 inches and the height to 2 inches. Make sure you have 2 cylinders with these dimensions, and then we can set these 2 cylinders to the side as well. For the third cylinder, or rather the fourth cylinder, we're going to need a height of 1 inch and 7/8 of an inch, and the length and width should be 1/2 of an inch by 1/2 of an inch. Then again, I'm going to set this to the side and we're going to focus on the cone structures, which we're going to use to cap the cylinders and create the structure of our rocket like this. For the orange cone, you're going to set the dimensions to 1 inch by 1 inch and the height is also 1 inch. For the small dark gray cylinder, the corresponding cone is going to have dimensions of 1/2 an inch by 1/2 an inch and a height of 1/2 inch as well. For the 2 white cylinders, their cones are going to have the same dimensions, and the dimensions will be 0.65 inches by 0.65 inches and a height of 0.65 inches as well. I'm going to set aside all my cones so we can use them later. Next, I'm going to drag more cones onto my work plane. I use the paraboloid feature, but you can also see what I've kept on my work plane for the specific dimensions. Here I have a width of 0.292 inches, a length of 5/8 of an inch, and a height of 5/8 of an inch as well. And then I've copy pasted this component, so I have 2 of these fin-like structures for the wings of my rocket. Then again, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to focus on the cones that are going to be used as the flames of our rocket. These 3 cones are symmetrical, and I've set them to dark orange to resemble the color of the flames, and their width and length is 0.8 by 0.8 inches with a height of 0.8 inches as well. For the structure of my rocket, I also have these 4 triangular prisms. They each have a width of 1/8 of an inch, and this triangle in specific is 1.5 inches by 2.717 inches. You can round this to 2.8 inches as well, and that should work. For this wider triangle, I have again a width of 1/8 of an inch. This base length is 2 1/4 of an inch or 2.25 inches, and the height is 1.35 inches. Now I'm going to take these 2 triangular prisms, align them down the center, select both of them, set the color to black just to customize it, and I'll also group the 2 components. Now you can repeat this process with 2 smaller triangular prisms, or instead, you can select this component that you just finished grouping, use Ctrl or Command C and then V to copy and paste, select Shift so that the ratio of your component stays the same in terms of length and width, and then use this gray box to decrease its size. I think I'm happy with this size, so I'm going to change the color to white for some contrast. And I'm going to align the 2 components like this down the center and so that they're slightly overlapping. Now I'm going to drag these 2 components towards the center of my plane so I have some more space. And I'm going to take the dark orange cylinder to the center of my plane, as well as the corresponding cone. I'm going to use this cone feature at the top of my orange cone to drag the feature up 3 inches, like so. And then I'm going to select the cone and the cylinder. I'm going to click on the Align tool, and I'm going to use the horizontal and vertical alignment tools to create the structure for the back of my rocket. Again, I'm going to align it with the base of the rocket that we created with these triangular prisms so that there's a slight overlap and the component prints as one piece. Next, I'm going to take the white cylinder and the corresponding cone. Now this cylinder is 2 inches tall, so I'm going to raise the cone 2 inches, like so. And then I'm going to repeat the process of alignment by using the Align tool and vertically and horizontally aligning the 2 components, which are the cone and the cylinder. You can even group these 2 components to make it easier, and then you can drag the component next to the orange cone and cylinder component that we just created. And again, ensure there's a slight overlap so that when you print, you have one piece being printed and not multiple separate pieces. It should look something like this. And then again, we can repeat this process with the cylinder and the cone, where we drag the cone up 2 inches actually, like so. Then click the cone and the cylinder, the Align tool, and then do a vertical and horizontal alignment. Then I'm going to click Group again, click away, and then drag the component next to the orange cone onto the other side of the previous white cone so that I can create a symmetrical design. Next, I'm going to repeat the similar process with the dark gray cylinder and the dark gray cone. Again, raising it 2 inches, and then aligning. And this will be the main body of the rocket. So I'm going to group the 2 components and then drag it so it overlaps with the base of my rocket and creates this type of a design. Finally, I'll take these 2 flattened cones and add them as the fins for our rocket. Again, you'll use this black cone or black arrow structure to drag the fins slightly up so they're not on the base of the rocket, and complete the same process for the second fin so it's symmetrical to the first, and then you can align it like so. Alright, I think I'm happy with how this looks, so I'm going to take the last 3 cones of my design to create a fire-like appearance. So I'm going to group them like this. You can create whichever orientation and however you would like to position these flames, but I think I'm happy with this sort of an arrangement, so I'm going to select the 3 components, group them, and then drag it underneath my design to create the effect of flames coming out of my rocket during liftoff. And there you go. Your design is complete. This is the design that we were trying to achieve, and here's a design that we have finally developed. If you need clear instructions, you can reference your task card, and feel free to pause the video at any time to check the dimensions and the process of making a rocket. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.